Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Exos Heroes video. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down FC Rera. I wanted to wait a few days before I actually did this guide just to try her out, see all the possible ways to use her, just really kind of get an idea of how good she is. So we're going to be going over her in raid, arena, and then also challenges. And so before we begin, I do want to say thank you for all the support you guys have given me. It's been like the craziest week of growth I've ever gotten in this channel. So awesome, really cool. Definitely more Exos Heroes videos on the way. And with that, let's get into it. Here, the best place to start is I made a simple infographic on FC Rera, and just kind of at a glance, you can kind of see where she's gonna be good. Like for example, in arena, like the best teammates, well, at the top here, I made sure to say that she needs Bathory. And then, some of the other teammates, be like Bathory, Illum, and FC Annie. I think FC Annie is absolutely one of the best pairings with her, especially in arena. And then in raid is specifically why she's so good in raid and what she brings there. And then also I was sure to put the actual moves here too, to make it easier to read, because the scrolling text is a big pain in the ass. So I figured you could just pull this up and then actually read her moves, and maybe it's helpful. I don't know. So I figured I would at least include that. And then lastly, my face is covering it, but it just essentially just saying she's got tier challenges and going to make nature really good. So just kind of an easy way to where you can look at this. And then if you guys like stuff like this, I'll be sure to do this for other champion guides I do in this game, so you can kind of easily get an idea of my thoughts on the character, where they excel at. What makes her so good? It's a combination of a few things, but let's highlight the things that are actually good. So obviously she has the dragon passive, which is really good. She is low defense, so it's not as good as someone like Xeon, but pretty in line with all the other dragon characters that seem to have significantly lower defense than Xeon does. Big part of her passive that's unique and really good, it's this Mark part of Guardian Star, which is Mark increases the attack speed by 32 and accuracy by 100 when the battle begins, removed when the health drops below 5%, restores 100% of health when the tranquil effect is removed. So then Mark is going to be something continual throughout the rest of her kit, but it's important to highlight, like that's the main part of the passive. And then let's go into other moves and highlight why Mark is awesome. So then the A1 deals 300% damage to one enemy. Really cool, just one mana move there. And then we also have Mark reduces the target's accuracy / invasion by 100, removed when the target takes damage. Self for 12 turns gains immunity to status and ailments, and then Bite, if marked with Tranquil, deals 50% additional damage for each mana the target has. So easily one of the hardest hitting moves in the game, gives you like a 4-piece machine set for 12 turns just built into the move, which is crazy. That's 4-piece faded gear passive essentially for free on this move, and reduces the target's accuracy and invasion by 100, which is insane for a lot of parts of content when it comes to being able to hit them. And then if they try to counter, if the dragon tries to hit you and then this passive is applied to them, they're not going to be able to do any damage. So incredibly impactful move there. And then next is going to be her A2, which is deals 124% penetration damage to all enemies. Also applies the Mark passive and then also the Bite passive too, where you're getting a lot more damage than it looks from the percentages here based on how much mana. Also, it's a 3 mana burst move, so you want to stack your mana. Blessing her to 6 stars is going to be really crucial to maximizing her damage, because that's how you get more mana. And then if you have 10 mana, obviously it's going to do more damage on a burst move than if you capped out at 5. Overall, those are going to be the main reasons why she's so good. She's very unique in this whole Mark passive thing. This thing is really important to abuse that. And then she also hits really hard when you have Tranquil. So pretty obvious, I guess. But the big thing is going to be you need Bathory. Most of the time strings are really bad, but it's getting more and more apparent that potentially going for the Bathory string is necessary, because that's the only way to guarantee you actually get Bathory. Hopefully you guys got lucky and ended up pulling her. You can guarantee a game-changing character in Bathory from that string, and then it's going to unlock all the potential that Rera has, and that combination is a massive game changer for your account. Okay, first let's talk about the raid. And I think this is where she really shines. This is going to be a massive game changer for a lot of people in being able to push further, especially into that whole phase 2. It's going to be a really big game changer for being able to push past and potentially even beating phase 3. She's going to be crucial for that for a lot of people. Here's the updated list on team comps. She fits under this. I used to have this under as survivability, changed it viewer suggested utility. I think this is a better way to classify it. And so FC Rera definitely fits in this as a really good character for building, easily a top 5 character for the raid. Every compliment I give FC Rera always needs to have the caveat of you need to have Bathory with her. She's definitely a package deal. She's not just good on her own, but what she brings is so good that I'm still crediting her for it. It's not all Bathory. I've seen cheeses where you can take like one or two characters, and then the main thing what you're using and why she's bringing so much utility is that she's not only giving herself immunity for the silence in the dragon, her abilities reduce the accuracy of the dragon. So what's happening is the dragon potentially, because the passive falls off when he takes damage. So every time, if Rera goes last in the chain, so the big thing about the dragon you got to keep in mind is that you get 3 turns. Everyone, doesn't matter how fast they are, whatever, you always get 3 turns and the dragon goes. So you go 3 characters. Hopefully the last one is Rera. Rera does one of her moves, and then either it be the A1 or the A2. It's going to reduce his accuracy by a ton, and then he's going to just miss. And so that you could take advantage of that in the raid. So I got some footage here. We'll pull up showing you exactly how that works. And it's going to allow you to go well beyond what you're normally capable of. I've seen people do these really long runs where they abuse it, where they guarantee that the Rera goes last. So then what that means is it's like a super long run, because I think the only way you can do it is you have very little characters in your team. Which means you won't have like Dragon Knight Blessing or Dragon Hunter Blessing, so you're just going to be slowly chipping away at the dragon. But it's a way to beat the dragon. So kind of cool that she built in you could be beating the dragon pretty quickly. All right, let's go to the footage I have. I'll highlight exactly what she brings to the table. Really cool character and really encouraging, because as you guys see in the last video, when it comes to the dragon, it takes a lot of stuff to be able to actually beat the dragon. And more characters that are making it easier is awesome. And making the dragon more accessible is going to allow people to have more faded gear quicker. Rera would be that character to definitely look out for, to allow you to start to beat the dragon a little easier. Here's some clips showing how the turn order is going to work, and then what happens when Rera actually does her move last in the chain. What I was saying, I just wanted to give you like a visual example of seeing it in action. It's super effective for being able to help you in the dragon. So here's the first example. So we got him going, and then Magi goes first, and then you're going to see next person is going to be Anastasia. And then there's only 4 characters. We're just taking advantage of the dragon passive to keep them all alive. And then this would be like a good strat if you're just trying to beat like phase 1 and phase 2. And then lastly, see how she goes. She's going to drop her A2. And then now the dragon's going to go and watch everything. He's going to dodge. Boom. And everything dodges. Awesome. Counters still go through. It's going to be tough to get it all synced up to where you can do it every single time, where she always goes on the turn 3. But it is kind of nice if you're just doing a normal team, you have that built in where you get another turn there. Like for example, when I'm doing the dragon, like Chadi, when she does her A1 and gives the shield to everyone, that's like gives you a free turn. But if she goes last in the chain, that's giving you a free turn. If you finally get a heal, that's another free turn. For example, FC Rudely is a really good way for survivability. If you don't have any of those characters, you can potentially use like Iris. She gives like 10% of her health, so you need to have her really geared. But she's gonna help you survive these dragon AOEs that are gonna come through. And then the more of those you have, then the more options you're gonna have for survivability. That is not just healing, because these are the things that are really great to have happen even when you're at full health. Whereas when it comes to healing, the only time you ever want it is when you're just low enough. And so it's kind of a dangerous game you're playing. Whereas you need to mix your team up with characters that can heal you essentially while you're full health, and then obviously characters that can heal you when you're not. So that's what is making Rera so good. Now let's do one more example, and then we'll move on to Arena. Magi. And then we got Anastasia. And then lastly, Rera goes. And the big reason why is because you want her to go last, so then no one hits the dragon and removes the passive. So she goes last, boom, hits it, the passive's on there, and then he tries to do the dragon roar and everyone dodges, which is great because then now you're dodging that entire silence. Like there's a lot of other ways to handle that silence, but that's one of the absolute best ways. And it's really important to be able to have an answer for the silence, whether it be 4-piece machine set, whether it be someone like her where she has it built into her kit, or through if she goes last in the chain, then she's going to make everyone dodge. But the reason being is because phase 3 becomes more of a DPS race. So the silence is a way to keep you in check and not do enough damage. Whereas if you beat that, then everyone's going to be using their moves, and then you're going to get closer and closer to actually being able to do the 314,000 or the 267,000, depending on which day it is. And once I was able to beat the silence there, then that's when I was able to finally start beating phase 3. And Rera just adds another way to do that. So now let's talk about her in Arena. Easily one of the top characters of the game in Arena, but she's very synergy dependent. I think her best team is definitely going to have the core synergy of these 3 here, which all these have direct tranquil synergy in Rera, Illum, and Bathory. Ideally, you would want the FC versions of all of them, but regardless, it's still fine. That trio is really good. I think the absolute best 4th, though, is probably going to be FC Annie. From what I've been seeing, I think it adds a lot to Rera because she's so fast. So then that's guaranteeing FC Annie is going to be giving her passive. The combination of her being able to do her A3 off the start. So like being able to do this. Normally in matchups in Arena, you wouldn't want to AoE because of the combination of like the passives with Xeon or Anastasia's. Like the Mark is going to counter and do a lot of damage. And then also normally you can't AoE off the rip. But if you have FC Annie, she's giving you 3 mana and she's giving you damage immunity. So then you're going to be able to do this move here, potentially do a ton of damage to people off the start, really get you ahead in the matchup, and then you take absolutely no punishment for it. And then they can't retaliate because you're still under that damage immunity. They can hit other characters. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because if they hit other ones, then Illum's probably going to taunt. Then you got the heal from Anastasia if you bring her in there. So I think ideally that is the absolute best comp is FC Annie in place of Rachel. I think Rachel's a solid number 2. Reason being, he's providing with his passive here. All back row allies permanently gain 1 mana because then it's going to give her the ability to do her a 1 off the start, which is a very hard-hitting move. And, Rachel's just obviously a really strong character, really good single target burst, adding disheartened effects. It's just good synergy. It's just good synergy. I just think there's better synergy with FC Annie in this particular comp. There's other options too, where you can go for potentially, I've seen something like this, and then instead of having Anastasia, because a lot of times people want to have Anastasia on their own team, or maybe even solo, especially if it's tag team, if it's normal Arena where it's just one team, then you'd probably want to stack up, you definitely want Anastasia on the team. But if it's, tag team and you want to split the Anastasia, split the Xeon, I've seen this comp here. You could probably make this comp with FC Annie. You could also make this comp with Baraka. Kind of a cool thing here is you would you would have the mana to start the match off and then hit them with, 300% damage. That's going to do a ton of damage, probably even more because they're going to have mana too, stuff like that. If they don't have an Illum, then Baraka is going to go in and finish them. Whereas if they have the Illum gets priority to taunt. So those are pretty much like the main comps I've seen. The main trio of Bathory, Rera, and Illum are going to be, the priority. And then the other 2 characters are going to be up for debate. I would say the best being FC Annie, second best being FC Rachel, or even Fake Word Shell Rachel. Like I have FC Rachel. I'm just choosing to Fake Word Share him just to try him out with more damage. That's another option as well. There's a lot of potential there, but when it comes to her, unlike Xeon just seems to be like a one-man army, whereas Rera is very synergy dependent. And I think I'm still undecided if she's better, like if this is objectively the best team in the game. It's just an unfortunate timing of tag team being right when she's released. So I haven't really been able to test her against like just everyone's best team. So as of now, I'm thinking it's borderline between, I really like the comp here of, for example, like my favorite team I've had so far is going to be this team. As of now, I think this is the best team. Potentially, if I had FC Annie, I would be able to test it. But I can really see Rera, and then instead of Rachel, it'd be FC Annie there as being the best team in the game. It's up for debate. I'm not too sure yet, but that's where it stands for me. Like when it comes to my ideas of what the best team comps are. All right, and then with that, let's get into some gameplay of Arena with Rera in here. Okay, so this is what I was looking for, just a mirror match style thing, kind of get an idea of how the matchup works when it's a different style. So the difference here is they're going for more of a single target with Rachel and Baraka. I like this comp. I really like Fake Core shared Baraka. They're giving mana over to Rera. So then that's going to be and then also here, I made sure to switch that really quick. Not to get distracted, but Tantalo, he has hard strike. It's really bad to put your solo Xeon in against that. Don't let that happen. It's probably an instant lose. Not only is it instant lose, there's no way for me the match to end. So you just outright have to quit. But this matchup here for this mirror match, it's an interesting thing. Both of these are very similar, except he's going for more burst. I'm going for more sustainability with Garf. I think both have their merits. We'll see how the matchup plays out. So here's going to be a good example. Super build team, they have Annie. So going to be a really good highlight on just how good this version is versus the Rachel one. I think it's going to be a nice highlight. Even if I lose the matchup, it's still nice to show it off just to show why I think this one's better. And then also I'm going to take this Xeon in versus this one. I believe I'm going to have an advantage because going second is actually really good. They're going to have forcibly stack up my passive, and usually I win these matchups. For the video, all we're going to be talking about is this top matchup. Also kind of interesting that people have been going light for their set bonus. I think that's kind of a new development. I haven't tested it out. It's really hard to take what the tooltip says in game because it says just a shield, but I believe it could be potentially a regenerating shield, which would actually be pretty sweet for like casters and stuff. I'm not too sure yet. Okay, normally because they have the Annie, it forces me to either hit the battery or hit the Annie, and so that's unfortunate. It's off the rip. And then here, let's try to take out the Annie. But oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Big thing is since I didn't take any damage, or since she didn't take any damage, there's another big point about this matchup here because she's not taking damage. So like, I just missed. And then here we got Annie. This is another part of the matchup. It's that since she's going to be taunting, she silences at a key point in the matchup. So if she had the mana for it, it wouldn't matter because I can't pop anyone's Guardian Stones. Okay, let's go for a hit here. I'm thinking, let's go for this hit. So notice how I have full mana. I could totally pop least someone, but I can't because silence. And we can't even retaliate because of that with her. And then now let's try to proc the Tranquil at least. It should oh, it doesn't matter. Dodged. Even though she's not my highest attack. I want to say I'm just getting unlucky because the passive shouldn't have proc there. Okay. In this situation, since we have the shield, I think it's time that we just go for this. It's a 9 mana burst AoE here. Since we're on the back foot, we at least killed the battery. She has the shield, so that's why I was risking it because I didn't think that the counter would actually kill her. That's why I went for that. And then we might have a chance here. This is going to break someone. Luckily, she still survived it. We're going to go for the heal. And then now, let's see if we can break anyone. Break the Illume. But can we? No, we can't. We don't have Tranquil anymore on Illume. Well, we're going to go for the damage. Okay. And then this is looking at, okay, so she's broken for a while. Because Bathory's broken for a while, I might as well just go for this. Here, let's do it. Normally, I would want to save the mana for Bathory and then do it after because Bathory uses everyone's mana for damage. But in this situation, it's probably worth just to do. And then, I go for this. Oh, I can't. Okay, we're gonna go for Illume. I figured I wouldn't do too much just because we just did an AoE. And then if she's broken, that was a big deal. And let's just go for the move that hits the hardest. It should have reset her shield. And so now we can probably go for actual damage. Now, see, notice how I just did no damage with a move that did 700%, but what we did is we didn't hit her twice. So then what happened is when we actually did go to hit her, we hit her with a loom that reset the shield to just 1 stack, and then we actually hit her, and then all the passives procced and actually hit her. And then did the same thing for her. We hit her with that move, and then she hit, and then our wrath hit, and then that's what actually killed him. So a lot going on there, a lot to unpack with that matchup, but I think that really shows how good it just shows how much better Annie is versus Rachel for this team. It's just I think the only reason why we're able to win is because how the computer played it. And I figured might as well just a little bonus thing, just showing how this matchup is actually easier. Is easier for Zeons to beat Zeons when it's a full team versus just one of them. I think it's kind of funny, and I just wanted to highlight that really quick. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful when it came to breaking down FC Rera. If you have any questions, I've been commenting on a lot of the questions there, so be sure to ask me there. And with that, you guys have a good one. Peace.